Mine made. Oh, there it goes.
Rip your hands
These
apart.
twist off tops. Sometimes they're really rough. My goodness. Hello there. And yes, the Talkies has returned.
Whoa. Man, we haven't done one of these in a while.
That's crazy.
We had a
That
bit
tastes
of a
really good.
hiatus. Well, because
Because it's a plastic bottle, dude.
No, it's because it's
and because it's Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Gross.
gross.
Do you know we're in the movie business? We do Coca-Cola.
All right.
Our last episode of the Talkies was a review of Slender Man.
Yeah.
Which was so bad that it made us rethink if we wanted to keep doing the Talkies. And so we decided we would only do the Talkies for movies we actually wanted to go see.
Or wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Since then, there hasn't been a lot.
Yeah, not that much.
Not a ton.
Yeah. One came and went without us getting a chance to cover, and that was the Black Klansman.
Oh yeah, me and
Yeah.
Dee saw it.
Yeah,
So we might want to do a revisit that one sometime.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about First Man.
Neil Armstrong space movie with Danielle, right? Damien
Chazelle.
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 Yes.
Shazel.
I don't know how to say his name, but the director of La La Land.
Yeah,
and
Whiplash. Yeah.
He was the director of La La Land?
Mm-hmm.
The cinematographer was Linus Sandgren, who also shot La La Land,
Yeah.
but also shot two other movies that I hated because of the cinematography,
Right.
and that was Battle of the Sexes and American Hustle.
I see. Well, what passionate opinions this guy has. Woo!
I know, doozies,
Hate.
right?
Wow. He hates stuff.
Doozies.
Let's start with Taylor. Give us the instant take on First Man.
I really liked this movie. I really liked how it felt like an experiential kind of thing. This is how I would describe it. Where I felt like the main objective was to put you into Neil Armstrong's shoes and really make you feel really feel what it felt like to stand in the elevator as you're going up Saturn V and gonna sit on the top of this rocket, this huge rocket, and have it lift off with you just in it.
Yeah.
And I think they do that. Also, what's cool about how they did that was they never, until Saturn V, was the only time they showed a wide of a rocket lifting off.
Yeah.
Every other time, it was all in the cockpit the whole time, which I thought was really interesting. It definitely made it feel very claustrophobic and actually pretty scary. The scene when maybe it was a Gemini mission, like Gemini 8 or something, when they started spinning out.
Yep,
they
that was
lost
Gemini.
control.
They all called it Jiminy.
Gemini.
That's
That's
what
weird.
that was
Did they?
funny.
They said Gemini?
Through the whole movie, everyone said Jiminy.
That's funny.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
When they started spinning out, they never show the rocket. Oh, they do a couple times once they start correcting.
Yeah.
But it's scary being in that situation where you have no control and you're spinning like over 100 times every second, and your instruments are just freaking out. You don't have any windows or anything, but your instruments are going crazy.
Right.
That's terrifying.
I felt like they did a really good job with claustrophobia,
Yeah.
with making you really feel the presence of a tight space. I haven't seen any making of stuff yet, but I did watch the making of stuff from Apollo 13. And in Apollo 13, they basically have, the Apollo capsule cut in half. So the other half is open to the studio where they have cameras pointing at it. And what it does is it gives you a sense of more space than it is really there, but also gives you a chance to see 3 human faces at once,
Right.
which you never can do in this. In this, I feel like they had a full capsule with a camera inside of it.
Yeah.
And you never can see very much at a time.
Yeah.
I thought that was really effective, at least for that. Mm-hmm. Go on.
So I loved all that. And that's not to mention the whole moon sequence stuff on the moon. It was probably the highlight for me. Like, I loved all that, the way it looked, just everything about it. I thought the relationship stuff was kind of interesting. I think this is where D has a lot to say about the cinematography, and I think the relationships of Neil Armstrong and his wife and his kids, which was... I liked it. I didn't think it was bad, but it was definitely like hard to gauge emotion, I think.
Like our star.
Yeah,
Ryan Gosling.
Because it's so kind of like blank.
This is what Ryan Gosling looks like when he's angry. This is what he looks like when he's sad.
He looks like a phone.
He has one face, and that face is pensive, which is great for Blade Runner.
I think it's great for this film, but it's not my turn.
Ooh.
It's still Taylor's turn, apparently.
Was that a wheelhouse?
I got a Tree of Life vibe from all of the neighborhood stuff. From Tree of Life is in the 50s, I believe.
The Terrence Mann film?
Yeah, yeah. Tree of Life is in the 50s, and this was early 60s, then into late 60s. But that neighborhood, that kind of like isolated neighborhood in that time period.
Terrence Mann, is that right?
Terrence Malick.
Malick.
Yeah.
Terrence Mann is the fictional author from Field of Dreams.
All right.
Yeah.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah. So I'm like, why do I know that name? Terrence Malick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And in the sense that the Tree of Life was very like stream of consciousness, for lack of a better term, and very like free flowy in the way these relationships intertwined and interacted with each other.
I've never seen Tree of Life.
It's a great movie. It's a really good movie.
It.
Yeah, you would probably hate it.
Awesome.
And I thought that was really interesting to have almost a little flavor of that in this movie. I didn't expect it to be. I definitely didn't expect this movie to be as toned down as it was, and as like downbeat as it was.
It's melancholy.
Yeah.
It's super melancholy.
Yeah. I was really thrown by that, but I came to like that about it. That's all I gotta say. I have nothing more to say about this movie.
All right. Well, I'm glad we're done with you.
Yeah. I do not want to hear any
this
more of this.
episode's going to be 20 minutes. We each just say our part, and that's it.
And done. D, go.
D, go. But how are you going to follow up after me?
Oh, I'm ready to fall. I'm going to crush you.
Kenny wants the upper hand, so that way he can hear what you say
I want
first.
the high ground.
You want the high ground?
I want the last word.
So all the parts that you mentioned, I really, really enjoyed. There was several parts in here where I was like, wow, this does it for me. This is really great. Like the elevator thing that you were talking about. The sense of the unknown when they're inside the space capsule and they're spinning, and he keeps seeing out the window and seeing just black, and he can't see Earth. And he's like, oh, where are we? And they keep doing that over and over without ever letting the camera come outside and seeing where they are. That's great. That's great use of cinematography. When you talk about cinematography, that's what I didn't like about the film, was that the whole thing, the entire film was shot as if it was a home movie, as if there was someone on the sidelines looking in the whole time. And so when we have shots where we're like his wife talking to the neighbor lady, the shots are behind their heads, looking off a little bit to their eyes, as if, again, someone's like peeking over the bushes going, oh, this is going to be great. And there's a lot of that which feels really disconnected from the characters to me. To me, I mean, even though they're close shots of the people's faces, because they're long shots and because they're shaky and they're handheld, and everyone is kind of making just talking to people. There's no big motions in this movie. There's not a lot of people running or doing things other than standing and talking. Because a lot of that is the way it is. It's hard for me to get emotionally gripped into the movie because it's not visually taking me there. I like movies a lot when cinematography is used to take the person and place them in the emotion that they're trying to show, basically. So Mother did that for me a whole lot by doing even the same camera work, because they were trying to make everything feel like really, really tight and not understanding what's happening. You can only have a limited perspective. And that's what I think this movie did really well, is the stuff that was very limited perspective I was like right there, and I was like you said, the space capsule, you felt like enclosed and claustrophobic was the thing. The first time that they went into Gemini, you know, the camera angle when we come down and we don't cut to a wide at all, the camera comes in and goes down into the seat and just stays there. And then we see the people come in and we're just like this the whole time. And I was like, yeah, like that feels great. And then the family stuff just took me out of it. And so it was a lot of hit and miss with me.
So I like seeing the same thing achieved that you're describing with the use of cinematography, but I felt like this movie actually achieved it instead of missed it.
Yeah.
Because of the tight shots, for one, gave me a sense that I was in between a lot of the conversations that were going on. I felt like I was awkwardly present at a couple having an argument, like, oh, that sort of feeling like I don't even know if I should be here.
I liked that
kind of thing.
Yeah, I did like that part.
But what you said about the home movie feel is right on.
Yeah.
I felt that as well, especially, some of the really long shot stuff of like flashback. They had some flashback scenes where he's playing with his kids and his daughter before she died. And clearly whoever's holding the camera is far away.
Yeah.
But because of like the graininess and the slightly out of focus and the shake in the camera, it evoked that feeling of this is an actual memory from the 1950s, right? Which made me feel even more like I'm a part of this family. I'm seeing things that an outsider would not normally see. So to me, it brought me closer in to these characters, and I think that's what the objective of what they were trying to accomplish was.
I think so too.
The big takeaway from me about this film, and I think it's a big reason why a lot of people are going to be disappointed in it, is that it's less about making it to the moon than most people are going to go in expecting.
Right. It is about Neil.
It's about Neil Armstrong, and specifically, I think it's about dealing with grief.
Yeah.
The grief of his daughter, losing his daughter, prevails the whole movie, and then throughout it is punctuated by loss over and over, repeated loss of people they're close to.
Yeah.
And I think what they're going for, and I got this, is that while everyone on Earth was jumping for joy and going, we did it, we beat the Russians and all this other, the story that we've seen told a million times.
Right.
Neil Armstrong isn't going to jump up for joy after getting on the moon, considering all that he had gone through, to get there.
Yeah.
I think that weighed on him so tremendously. At least that's the way it looked in this. And when I saw him drop his daughter's bracelet on the moon at the very end, it was very clear, like, okay, this is all symbolic. This is the bookends. This movie is about him and his daughter, right? Getting to the moon, while that did actually happen, is also metaphor for him learning to let go and move on.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, we're talking about him going to the moon. There is a moon-sized chasm between him and his wife and his children already. It's like he's already on the moon, right, the whole time. When he comes back to Earth, he's returned from the moon. There's still a sheet of glass between him and his wife, and the most touching and affectionate moment we ever have between them is them kissing their hands and touching through a pane of glass.
Yeah.
So this idea of distance and separation is throughout the whole movie. And so it's much more like a very symbol-rich character piece that happens to be centered around going to the moon than it is The Right Stuff or Apollo 13.
The one thing I would say that permeates this film a lot is the feeling of realism.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about the home movie feel and whatnot, the first thing I said when we came out of the theater was like, space nerds would love this movie, right? People who are really into the history of NASA and reading up on characters such as Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and all the people who were involved. People who don't know about that kind of stuff, who come into it like me, who come into this and be like, okay, well, I don't know much about any of this. Presenting this as a real thing that happened and show it kind of like home movie-ish, you don't have a connection with the stuff already inside. So I compared it to seeing a home movie of someone else's family rather than your own. If you see a home movie of your own family, it doesn't matter what the camera's doing. It could be facing the ceiling, and
you have all the context.
You have all the context. So in here you have zero context, and again, this is just for me. So the cinematography there didn't bring me any closer, and so that realism disassociated me as opposed to brought me in.
Yeah, I thought that was actually really interesting how many little details they put into the movie for kind of space nerds.
Yeah.
Without like being overt about it, and like little things that you wouldn't notice or think of, or like you're wondering like, why is this happening? Like the lunar lander steps getting stuck halfway out in their extension.
Just like a legendary story.
Yeah, that like
that you guys know.
Yeah, that inspired Armstrong's
giant leap.
phrase, "giant leap."
Really?
This is a giant leap off of.
I didn't get that. Interesting.
Yeah. But it was there. Like they showed it happen, and they have a few lines about it.
Yeah.
But they don't acknowledge that this is like a really like huge story that people know about, in the space nerds, like you said, know about.
Right.
It was another one of those, and of course this was deeply tied into the story itself with another tragic loss, but it's another one of those stories that all Apollo geeks know about but have not really ever seen visualized, at least well, and that is the fire on Apollo 8,
right?
Which we'd all heard about before, and seeing that visualized was like rather harrowing.
Yeah. Very disturbing.
Yeah. And having him getting the phone call while he's off schmoozing with people at the White House was sort of amplified that.
Right.
And see, I love that kind of thing. Though I am a space nerd and picked up on that kind of stuff, so I understand that like if you're not into that, then you're definitely not going to pick up on it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's like so necessary.
Well, you might have.
I think it definitely helps.
It does help. Yeah.
There's two forces driving that problem, I think. So one is expecting the audience to have some understanding of the space race and that whole history.
Yeah.
He decided to omit a lot of that and let that be the background story while they focused on the main character. So that was a conscious choice he made.
Definitely.
And that either he's close to the content and understands that or believes that the audience would have that context, or he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The other force being this is adapted from a book. And I think this happens a lot when a director adapts from a book, because the book provides either will provide more or less content depending on what kind of audience the book is pointed at.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the book, but if it's written for NASA geeks,
I could definitely see that.
Then adapting the book straight to movie could alienate a lot of audience.
Well, so it's that, because it's definitely a character piece, right, with the moon stuff as the background. It's definitely that, but then that mixed with that cinematography, of that quote realistic cinematography, it really brings you from like you should know this stuff, and if you do, it brings you completely in, and if you don't, then it really separates.
Right.
You. Battle of the Sexes. Have either of you seen that?
That's
No.
the tennis one. Right?
Yeah, the tennis one. So
No. It looks bad.
I hadn't heard the
Looks bad. I say.
it's okay.
Well, then I'm out.
But the cinematographer is the same. It's the same person, and he shoots the exact same way. And I watched also the trailer for American Hustle, and all the shots again look the exact same way. It's always here.
That's just his thing.
That's his thing.
What about La La Land? Because it was pretty
La
acclaimed
La Land
for
was
its cinematography.
was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it had tons of wide shots in it. Not to mention, I actually hate wide shots myself, but in context, when they're necessary, they're good. However, so all these close-ups and stuff, I think it is trying to generate that home movie feel, because they're recreating something that actually took place in history, and therefore he's going to show it as if it was a home movie, as if it was there. And Battle of the Sexes felt real. Like it felt like it happened, and I am here to see it. But again, there was a super disconnect there. Like you're not there with the characters while they're, emotionally in. You're looking in on them. So people who would be interested in that story, who already know the story, would like the movie.
Yeah, the biggest cinematography thing that brought me out of the movie only happened a couple times was the zoom thing. Like
Yeah,
it
they had a
zooms in.
few
Which also does home movie. I mean,
Yeah.
that's home movie-ish.
Yeah, I hate that.
unmotivated zoom.
Yeah, and I hate that in every movie. Like I don't think I've ever seen a movie where I liked that in.
You're just talking about mechanical zoom.
Yeah,
So there's two.
like where it like zooms in and then it's like slightly out of focus and he gets in focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate
That's the realism thing at
Yeah.
work.
I hate it.
I hated all of it. All of that.
But that's all that I hated. Everything else about the cinematography,
So
like
when you
I was
shoot
in.
a movie like that, I'm imagining there's two reasons you do it. Either one, you're trying to tap into some psychological programming that the audience has
Right.
and recognize and to get that feel of being a home movie.
Definitely that.
Not necessarily trying to replicate a home movie.
No.
Especially of times when home movies didn't exist.
Right.
And I think doing those jump zooms, those like fast zooms like that, are too close to the replicating side
They probably are.
as
Well,
opposed to just tapping into your subconscious awareness.
Right. All those movies that Lind also shot were super heavy on grain. Like film grain was super high.
And that was in this one too.
Yeah, in this one, American House
Until
of
they were in
Land,
outer space. That was
No, even in outer space it was too.
looked pretty crisp out there.
It did, but I think it was because of the contrast. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was shot on film.
maybe it was. I just know the film grain was crazy up there.
Yeah.
Super much.
Man, I loved that. The moon stuff was like a dream come true for me. Like seeing that stuff was amazing. That's like
That was the first
Yeah.
moonwalk that felt real to me.
that's the thing. It felt so real.
Yeah.
I actually, it's like cliche to say like, oh, I felt like I was there in the movie, but I like felt like I was on the moon in that scene. The way
It's
they
funny
got the dust all right on the
because
crust
they
of
weren't trying to.
the
They
moon.
really didn't build up to a dramatic reveal moment like "ta-da, we're on the moon, we did it." It really wasn't all that. The movie wasn't driving you to that moment. Yet, I was probably more excited to land on that moon in this film than I was for any other accomplishment in any other space movie.
Definitely.
And I think it's because I felt like I went there.
I think probably because they failed so many times on the way up.
yeah, they
So you finally did it, and you're like, finally.
yeah. They also did this thing where, kind of like what you said, where it wasn't a sudden reveal. There was definitely like an emotional build up as they were coming in to land, and they went over the crater and then they landed. But once they landed, it wasn't like, bam, we're here, jump on out, and woo, we're jumping around
They
on the
gave
moon.
you a long time to
Yeah.
wait for that.
You
shot.
sit in the lander
Yeah,
for a
you do.
little bit, and they all get ready. They open the door, and then you see it, and then you open the door, and they see it, and it's just silent.
Yeah.
And you just see a shot of the moon, and it's like, oh, well, there's nothing here. Why do we do this? It's just a rock.
I did really like that. How it's just like this pan,
Yeah,
and it's just gray dust
yeah.
for miles.
That's all it is.
That's great.
It's like,
I'm
why'd we come here?
I'm gonna pick a nit that I
Get that knit.
Yeah, get
I-
the nits. They're good to get rid of. They just,
I pick
They
them.
need someone to pick them.
yeah.
I pick this nit in almost every space movie. There's been very few where
Sound. Fireflies.
sound in space. I just hate how often we cut to the exterior and watch them, reorientate their ship by blasting off some exhaust in one direction.
And it
And
was-
we yeah, and I'm like, really, like this being a film where they are sort of touting that we're making this feel very genuine and real.
Yeah.
And yet we still have the exterior in space with audio.
Well,
Yeah.
It's funny because they went in between over and over. Like they had,
They did have some silent ones.
yeah, they had some
Yeah.
silent parts. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a really weird sound that I really liked in there where he was trying to dock or undock. I can't remember what was happening. Something was spinning, and there was another piece that was coming on or off, and every time we cut to the outside, we heard this, and then we come back, and I don't know what that sound was supposed to be. I guess it was supposed to be one of the pieces spinning, and it had such a weird sound, and I really liked it.
I liked when, and this was from inside the cockpit, so I'll give it a pass. But both times we rode into space with them, you heard the innards of that vessel creaking like it was going to collapse.
I really like
Yeah.
that.
That made me so nervous.
Seriously. But they actually engineer a certain amount of give inside of all the
Right.
mechanics, so
So-
it
yeah,
can
so you
do
can
that.
do that, yeah.
And the same thing happens with submarines. As you go
Interesting.
down in a submarine, you start to hear it all.
Go.
Yeah.
It scares you to
That
death.
That
does
is
not
scary.
sound right. It's just crazy to like seeing this movie and like outside of the movie, but just like thinking about that like people actually did go to the moon, unless you're like a moon hoaxer guy. But it's like, you know, people did go to the moon, and like,
What you're saying? They did go to?
You believe we went to the moon?
well, I mean,
Come on, dude.
This is a fictional movie.
I mean, it could have been. Just all I'm saying, it could have happened.
All right, go on.
The Earth was round in this movie too. That was just weird.
Yeah, that brought you out of the
Bold
realism.
choice.
Bold.
Showing a round Earth. Very bold.
Giving into the mainstream.
Yeah, weird. You know
Yeah.
what you're saying?
It always like blows my mind thinking of like 3 people are just sitting in this
I
little
know.
metal capsule for millions of miles in space.
Yeah,
going
no,
out to like
that
a
definitely
rock.
got me that time too. When they're, I don't know what it is about space, but when they look out the window and you see just the black.
Yeah.
They did this with Cloverfield Paradox, which you didn't see. But you
I saw it.
And you know when they're looking out the window and they're just like, "Where's the Earth? Where's the sun?"
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just like, "Oh my god!" Like it's just so not claustrophobic. What's the
It's the opposite of claustrophobic. When you feel tiny in the midst of infinity.
That,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what that.
There's
is crazy.
no context for anything.
I
around
felt
you.
that
Right.
pretty viscerally when he was bouncing off the atmosphere. The
Oh,
very
dude,
first
yeah.
scene
That
of the
was
movie.
crazy. Yeah.
That was scary.
Yeah.
I was almost feeling like, oh, this is almost uncanny, like it's a dream.
Right.
Like I didn't know that had really happened, or I didn't even know that was a real thing.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
You know,
That was a fear that I never
seeing
knew I had.
his altitude just starting to
That's a new
spin.
fear.
Yeah. His altitude began spinning up.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, oh god.
And he's like, "You're bouncing, correct?" And
He has
he's like,
no
and
control
he can't
over
do it. I'm
everything.
just like, "Oh my gosh, he's gonna float into outer space, and no one can come save you for like 3 years." Oh, jeez.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, that was intense.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, Carmen line.
Oh yeah, he's on
It
the
was on the
Carmen
Carmen
line.
line.
Carmen line's a dangerous place, as it turns out.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
sketchy.
Yeah, it's sketchy up
Don't
there.
don't come around Carmen line.
No.
Yeah,
Carbon line's bad.
might get hit by a Nerf dart. It gave me the sense of being a person on another world in a way that I don't think I've felt very much in.
Like since
in
Ready Player One. That
No.
weird fantasy land.
what I mean is that in pondering going to the moon, I've always felt like the moon was just an extension of Earth, just another part of us.
Oh yeah.
And this time, when they finally cut to the wide of the plane in front of him on the moon, I felt like this is almost a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's otherworldly.
I did like, whoa, what is that? You know.
Also,
Sorry, go ahead.
when they show usually when we're on the moon in a movie, they show the Earth,
I
and
was
the
gonna
Earth.
say the same thing.
Yeah, the Earth is huge.
Yeah.
But here, the Earth was pretty tiny.
Well, okay, so that actually didn't do it for me so much. When they looked at the Earth, I didn't feel like it's far away, and that the Earth is now in the moon's place, for example.
It was a crescent Earth.
Yeah, it was. It seemed regular.
It seemed really small to me, like a lot smaller than normal.
It didn't do it so much for me. Interstellar, I think, hit on a bunch of those parts for me, but not specifically that. When they were on the moon, though, and they were stepping on the stuff, I definitely felt you are so far from home.
Yeah.
You're not on Earth anymore. That's
Yeah,
just
and I
crazy.
like them prefacing their trip by reading the emergency obituary that they would have to read if they get
Oh.
left behind.
Yeah, I've seen that in so many movies.
I like that. Now what?
So that's what I thought when they got on the moon.
Oh,
It's like they got on the moon. It's like, now what? Like, get some dust. Time to go.
Ryan Gosling's performance I thought was laughable.
See,
So I don't think so.
I liked it. And you know what? I always liked Ryan Gosling. Even like I like his
No, I like it.
Kuleshov effect.
Yeah.
Method.
Yeah, no, okay. See what you just said, that right there. That's not acting.
Okay, well, no, that's not necessarily true because if this was, you're saying he appeared to be a human who was dead inside. This was a movie about a guy who was dead inside.
Yeah. And I know Ryan has the ability to act several different ways.
Yeah, we've
So
all
it's-
seen the Papyrus video.
Right, exactly. So there's different. So I can understand when he's acting that way. It's the director's decision. It just felt like I felt like the whole time he didn't ever emote, and maybe that's just how Neil was, But I never saw that in his family. Like when his kids are coming around and jumping around and stuff, he smiles at them, and then goes back to melancholy after they leave, and stays that way for like the rest of the movie. And it's just
Yeah, but I felt like his
weird.
like smiles at his kids were just fake.
they were
You
yeah
know,
they felt
like,
fake.
Like his kids wanted some reassurance that everything was okay, so he gave him a fake smile.
Yeah.
But things really weren't okay.
Right. Well, it made it feel like Neil was super depressed throughout this whole time.
Yes, I think that was the point.
Okay. Well, if that was,
I think he absolutely was. I think he absolutely was.
Congratulations.
It was
This was a depressing film.
It is a depressing film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a very
there's
sad
no
movie.
question about it. This is meant to be a sad movie about a man who repeatedly suffered loss and is remembered for the greatest achievement in world history.
Yeah.
Like he went to like so many funerals, like all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he sits down before Apollo 11 with his sons,
Oof.
and he's like, might not make it back, and then his son shakes his
yeah.
hand,
Yeah.
Shakes his hand.
doesn't
yeah.
give him a hug,
Right.
shakes his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good
Also, one of the 4 white shots in this film.
one of the 4. Just because they couldn't fit Neil, his son, and their hands shaking all in one
All in one
tight
close-up.
shot, so they had to.
I gotta go wide.
The director was like, "Come on,
Yeah,
we
damn
don't
it.
do wide in the house."
But you can't get it in like a 70? Come on, just like if you just go over here, over the shoulder.
Rack focus.
Yeah, just rack it.
From his face to the
from the sun to the hand to,
to the
the,
hand
face.
to the face.
Jeez.
Yeah, I always liked just Ryan Gosling. Even when he's just blank, I like his blank face. I like his pensive look.
I really like him in things like Drive,
Yeah.
and where he's supposed to be emotionless, or
But that's what this was.
yeah, and that's fine. Okay, so what it felt like then is, to me, that this guy wasn't supposed to be that way, that he was supposed to be regular like everyone else, and he wasn't. And that's what, again, there was a lot of things that drew me out of it, and I think it would be better if I was a space nerd, if I had known more about the stuff.
Your whole life would be better if you were a space nerd.
No,
Maybe you'd finally have some things in common with me and Taylor, and we
That's
could be
true.
friends in real life.
that's true.
And just not on the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have anything in common.
No, we just pretend to even know you when we do our show. Yeah.
This is just for the audience.
It's just for the audience.
yeah.
There, sorry
We
to
actually
pull back
hate
the curtain
each
that
other.
way.
Yeah,
Speak
don't give
for
away
yourself.
the
Me and
illusion.
Taylor are best friends.
All right, you guys met on that film set in a while.
Yeah, we met on a film set.
I met him, my cousin.
On a film set.
I met my cousin on a film set.
It's weird that we ended up being cousins. Like, isn't that crazy?
I was
Like
like-
first cousins.
Yeah, I was like,
it's
hey,
crazy.
We just ended
I
up
noticed
being-
your name is Schofield.
Yeah.
That's my mom's last name.
Oh, who's your mom? Is
Maybe-
it Sue?
Oh, yeah. Your aunt.
Yeah, that's my aunt.
Oh.
Your aunt is my cousin?
We're
Wait,
cousin.
your aunt is your mom? You're my cousin.
Your aunt's your mom?
Something like that. Something like that.
Oh,
He
anyway.
goes, you look familiar. Were you a baby when I was 15?
Here's the great loss, is that if you were a space geek,
Yeah.
we would have been considering this movie for a golden helmet.
There would have been a brief discussion.
Then we'd have 2 golden helmets starring Ryan Gosling.
Oh, wow.
There would have been a brief discussion, but I would have.
I think I would have
Nixed it.
relented too.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have actually made it, but
Not
there
because
would
of
have
the
been
Zooms.
there would have been talks.
Because of the Zooms.
Yeah.
There would have been talks.
There would have been talks.
Well, you know, with back to the goose,
Goose.
Ryan Gosling.
Oh, okay.
He's a good friend of mine. My nickname for him is the
The
goose.
Goose.
That's what I call him.
I like it.
What's up, Goose?
The goose is loose.
He
Mm-hmm.
what you were saying reminds me of the way a lot of people talk about Keanu Reeves, right? Keanu
Right.
Reeves also has a reputation of just being kind of,
Right.
you know, on camera, which actually made him perfect for The Matrix.
Right.
Like he was perfect for
Absolutely.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
And so I rest my case.
All right.
Case rested.
Case rested.
Wrecked.
The defense rests.
The defense wrecked.
So anyway, if you haven't seen First Man yet,
You
I'm
messed
sorry.
up, man. You messed up by watching this. Oh.
Any more to add? Oh, what kind of pizza is this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this will be interesting. I don't know.
I don't want to go first.
You don't want to go first? Why do you go first?
Because I have to think
Puss?
Kenny, you have
a
to go
little bit.
first. Kenny, you ain't pussing. You go first.
I ain't pussing around. Okay.
We all know Taylor doesn't mess.
I don't mess.
He don't mess.
I
This
do.
bottle's been empty
Sometimes
for
I
20
puss.
minutes. Okay.
No one knows what pizza.
When I go to Whole Foods for pizza, sometimes they have a vegan offering there that is delicious, and sometimes it looks like they poured leftover salad on a crust and baked it, and they call it the vegan pizza, and it's an insult. This was like going to Whole Foods hoping that I'm going to have a great vegan pizza ready there for me, and then seeing that it's actually there and getting it.
Nice.
It's that delighted feeling of a movie being exactly what I hoped it would be.
Nice.
That's what this movie was to me.
Yeah, that's something that actually I was kind of surprised by, that it completely met my expectations.
Wow.
I guess the only way it didn't meet my expectations was like I didn't expect it to be melancholy.
It was a different movie than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But it didn't let me down in any way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You still have to put that in
pizza?
terms of a
Okay.
pizza.
Okay. So I got it.
Oh, here he goes.
So you come into the pizza shop and they have these pizzas that are behind glass that are on the heat lamp and everything, and you guys are looking at them and you're just like, oh, that one looks pretty good. Let's try that one. And so your friends take the 2 last pieces and they start eating it. They're like, this is great. and I remember looking at the pizza and I was like, what, well, I mean, I guess it was good, but I don't know if I actually tried it.
I thought you were going to
didn't get
say.
any.
I thought you were going to say they pick up one of the slices and press it against the glass.
I was gonna say that first, actually,
and you
and
could just put your hand
put
up
your hand-
against it.
I felt that was too
That's
Kenny.
as close as you could get to the
That was,
pizza.
that was too much of a Kenny pizza.
See, it's funny because like I can only do like boring pizza ratings, and the pizza ratings I've given before, and
All the same ones.
I can't help but like go
You're
to
like,
the,
this is like a good barbecue chicken pizza.
I can't help but go to the Whole Foods thing like you. It's like the exact same rating you gave, but instead of a vegan, it's pepperoni. It's fresh pepperoni.
Fresh pepper.
Yeah, it's like it's exactly
Certified fresh.
no.
Oh, we got to have a tomatoes revisit.
Another
episode.
tomatoes episode.
Yeah, we did.
We could talk about that forever. Hey, well, this landed in like the 70s, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes.
Did it? I
Yeah.
thought it was a lot higher.
No, so it was lower, and then it climbed up as it came to release.
Nice.
So it was high
is it in
70s.
I thought I saw it in the 90s when we went to go see it.
Okay. It's about 90s.
Okay,
What?
fine.
It's a 90. It's a 90 out of 100 movie.
Oh.
Raise
What?
your
You're wrong.
drinks.
Validation.
Oh, look, he's
friends.
like, wrap this up, guys.
Let's get it on.
Done with this.
Got a full bladder.
We did
wanna
the
pee.
pizza.
Until next time in a few months.
Yeah, until
Yeah, I don't know
until
when the
next
next-
year when we.
When's the next?
Well, we got award
Well,
season
yeah.
coming up, so there's got to be a bunch.
Are we ever going to talk about Black Klansman?
No.
It's not really noteworthy.
Because we should talk about it.
It's just not noteworthy. Everyone's agreed. It's meh.
Meh.
It's just sort of.
I enjoyed it more than
In
I
fact,
enjoyed
it's
this
kind of.
one. I enjoyed Black Klansman more than I enjoyed First Man.
You know what, D? You don't know that.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know that.
You just like it because it's more relevant and
Right, 'cause
more
I'm black.
diverse and inclusive.
'Cause I'm black.
Yeah. Did you hate this movie because it was,
There
all
no black
about white
people.
men?
Yeah. You know, I mean,
And did you hate it because they didn't celebrate the American flag?
honestly, you know, as soon as they got up there, I was just like, okay, yeah, white guys doing stuff.
Look,
Yay.
When I go to a movie,
something different.
Yeah. When I go to a movie, I want to see a freaking American flag planted somewhere.
Thank you.
I want to see us blowing up something.
Yes.
And I want to see a black person, a Latino. I need to see one Asian person.
At least one gay person.
At least
one person who enjoys bestiality.
Preferably all of the
One
LGBTQ should all be represented
one of each.
in the movie.
All of them.
And honestly, if you're not writing scripts to include all those characters,
All major characters.
you
also.
should not be making movies.
No, you're doing it wrong.
And not caricatures, not
No.
nothing
Real
offensive.
characters.
They should each be the most important part of the
Yeah,
story.
main
All of them.
characters. You know, ensemble.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that movie Magnolia almost got it right, but they were all white.
See, like Crash almost got it right, except it was a bad movie.
Oh, you know what? Crash was not a
Crash,
bad.
no,
movie.
Crash is a good movie.
Crash is a good.
It's
Dang,
good- it's good.
I was about to start a
Wait,
fight.
I'm not
Put
done.
your bottle down. Put
Put
it
it
down.
down. I'm not
Put it
done.
down.
I had more to say. Put it
Cheers.
down. Put the
Cheers,
Pepsi
Taylor.
down.
Cheers.
Put it down. No. There's some movies coming out.
Well, yep.
What
Yep.
movies?
There's that one drama that came out same day as First Man that you suggested we go see.
Oh, Venom. Yeah.
Venom.
Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah, that looks kind of cool.
Yep.
I'd see that. There's a movie called Under the Silver Lake, by the guy who directed It Follows, and the trailer looks really good.
I haven't seen It Follows.
That's a good movie.
I also haven't seen Mid-90s.
Oh,
Which
I
is
want
out.
to see mid 90s. That's out.
It's out now.
We should do that.
How about Bodied?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you guys know about Bodied?
No.
Yeah.
It's produced
I know all
by
about it.
Eminem.
No, I don't want to see it.
It was a huge hit at Sundance.
It was produced
Yeah,
by Eminem.
yeah.
What is that?
It's a movie about battle rap.
What does it mean to be produced by? Who cares?
He did all the
He
logistics.
produced it like he's like
He was there.
He's like, I need to
He
find
did
a
some
great
phone calls.
cinematographer.
He's like, hey guys,
I'm producing
make
a
this
movie.
movie for me.
We gotta get the line on the set that day, right now. We gotta get there. How much is it gonna cost? That was
Wow,
Eminem.
Eminem did
He,
that?
Yeah.
I want to see
he was
it.
the line producer. Yeah.
He wasn't even the producer.
It's the line.
Mandy. Nick
Oh,
Cage.
yeah.
Where is that?
I
That's
think
not
it
even
already-
around.
I think it already came out.
Came and gone.
You guys know so much about
It had a
these
really
movies. I've never heard of any of these.
What are you, a movie film fan?
Yeah, why don't you follow the festival buzz?
I don't watch features. I watch shorts, man.
Oh.
Not this feature garbage.
He's right.
Actually, you know what, D? I think you're right.
You're right.
For once,
Features are garbage.
new role. Features suck. It's all about
Features
shorts.
suck. It's all about shorts. In
Short
fact,
Film
you should
Roundup.
watch our show, Short Film Roundup. Go check it out right now. And until next time, I'm Kenny.
Oh, we're just gonna end now.
Oh, now you don't want to end.
Until next time,
I guess
I'm Kenny.
I'll go along with it.
Until next time, I'm Kenny.
I'm D.
Until next time, I'm Taylor.
And we'll see you at the Talkies in a month or two.
I'm just gonna cut the cameras.